Hey everybody, welcome to Red Devils United. We're going to do this take two. Issues with the sound. But here we are, Man United playing the Champions League. I mean, we were waiting all last season to get here, and now we're here. We had an amazing result last week v PSG. Really, really brilliant. And we've got RB Leipzig, who, an extremely great team. Um, an extremely great team in Europe. They've produced so many great players, and Werner's just left recently to go to Chelsea. All the two Red Bull teams are actually doing brilliant. I just going to talk briefly today about what I want to see in the game. Please share your thoughts if you're live. I'll try to capture your comments in the live chat. I'll be able to read out your comments, discuss any of the things that you'd like to say, and we're only going to have a short video. I want to do pre-match videos, 10 to 15 minutes tops, and post-match videos, 10 to 15 minutes. Gonna get the Red Devil United set updated a bit. I also want to introduce a new segment called Beers and Chat, which kind of came from last week's live discussion that we had. It went on for about an hour, but I really enjoyed it, and there was only two people in the chat coming back and forth, and the video had about 40 views, which is good. I don't do this to get loads of views. I'm only starting out. It's a new channel, so please subscribe, share with your friends. If you follow United, if you like football, then this is a great place to come and chat about football, discuss the weekend's games, discuss the midweek European matches, cup games, and just have a bit of banter, and view some of your air some of your queries, and I'll answer what I can. I don't claim to be some kind of crazy footballing expert like the brilliant Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher, but I do like to talk about football, as anybody who knows me would know. So please like and share, and we will increase the volume of people that are watching. But Beer and Chats is basically going to be every Saturday. I'm going to pick a time that suits. And it's basically just me having a beer and chatting with anybody who's watching live about the weekend's football and the stories that have developed from the weekend's football. So looking forward to that. Now, less than an hour, United are going to be playing against RB Leipzig. I'm going to go straight into the team that I actually think will play. Now, I've actually don't need to do this now. Actually, my phone just died. But I did see that the team was picked, and I briefly glanced over it. But I'm not actually sure what it was. Now, I believe it was a back four. Now, the back four I would pick is sitting right in front of us. This is the back four I would pick, but I do believe I saw that Tunzebi was again omitted from the starting lineup, much to my bewilderment, because I do think his performance against PSG was probably one of the best defensive displays we've seen all season, if not for months. It was brilliant. So I don't understand why he is again omitted. There's no point. 22-year-old, 10 months out. Yeah, you can't rush him into too many games, but he's had a week. He's had a week where he's rested. There should be no reason why he can't play. And I have to say, very disappointed to see him not in there, because he was brilliant. And what are you saying to a 22-year-old who can play that well against some of the best attacking players in the world? And then you don't get to play in the following matches. It's highly annoying. But again, we don't have McTominay. I do believe I saw that. Was it Matic? I'd have to double check, but I think I saw Matic playing at the back. I think we saw Van der Beek was playing, and I do believe Pogba got a call. And then I can't remember if it was Rashford and Greenwood. I think it was Martial and Greenwood. Giving Martial a suspended for Premier League matches is a chance for him to get some game time. But this may be the team we're looking at. I actually think Fernandez may have been omitted, and it could be Fred. Now, if you're in the live chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but this, I think, is the lineup in which we have today. I'm not exactly sure of the formation that goes with. I'm not sure at all. If there's anybody in the live chat, would love to know. Jay and Connor Nolan, great to join us. Thanks a lot. So we've got Van der Beek as centre back. Okay. And Jay, who is the midfield? Is it? Because I saw it briefly. My phone died and I haven't had a chance to look. So is it Van der Beek and Matic? Bruno's out. Thank you. Connor Nolan thinks it'll be a 2-2 draw tonight. Well, Connor, I do believe that it will be a Man United win, 2 or 3-0. But what are we looking at? Is this... This looks too shy of players. We're missing somebody. So Matic is centre defensive midfielder. I have Matic in there. That's great. And we've got Pogba and Fred. Okay, so it looks like we're going with Pogba, Fred as 2 midfielders. Just ahead of Matic with Van der Beek playing number 10. Very narrow team. But room for Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Shaw to get up and down the lines. So Jay, does that team look good for you? Deco is joining us in the chat. Deco was live with us at the weekend. Hope to have him live again this weekend coming. But Deco's like, can't believe no Tunzabi. Deco, I'm right with you. I can't believe it. No Tunzabi. And I've already said, a couple of minutes ago, how well he's done and how much I want to see him. So Connor Nolan is saying that's right. Jay is also saying it. We called it last week 4-1, 4-2, 1-2. it's like counting my numbers. Jesus Christ. It's 4-1, 2-1, 4. But it is. It's very narrow, Jay. But it does give a lot of width for two places. There's a lot of width for the fullbacks to get up. And as a previous fullback myself in a past life, fullbacks should want to get up and help with the attacking play. You spend a lot of your game defending, so it is great if you can get up and down the pitch. But it also, believe it or not, gives a lot of width for players like Martial to come out wide, for Greenwood to come out wide, and that's going to occupy the fullbacks as well, which gives Fred and Van der Beek and Pogba a lot of room in the middle. The middle is going to be congested, with those 4 midfielders and the 2 defenders behind them. It's going to be a lot of people there, so there's a lot of space on the width, and I think our strikers will utilise that, and Pogba as well and Fred will create movement. But ultimately, I actually don't mind this lineup. I'm excited to see Van der Beek, have to say. Really excited about that. I would love to have seen Telles at left full instead of Shaw, because again, I know it was only one match, but against PSG, his crossing and his corners are actually looking like a threat, and we'd love to see that more and more. And Shaw just doesn't really offer that much. I mean, he gets up a lot, but he doesn't overlap that often, and he doesn't cross for his time that often. He doesn't cross at all, to be honest. And very rarely will he overlap. He normally gets the ball and passes it backwards, and so it's kind of just a waste of having him up there in the first place. Very rarely will he contribute. Telles, he looks like he get the ball and cross it in, so would really love to see him there. But everything about that midfield is great. Fred getting a chance again. He played brilliant against PSG. Pogba, loved to see him starting because, again, he's been on the bench for the last few games, but he's done well when he's come on. And obviously, we've all talked about wanting to see Tunzabi at the back. But let's take a look at the bench. When you look at the Man United bench, you've got... Well, I'm not sure who's on the bench. We've got so many players, but I imagine Tunzabi's on the bench. Hopefully Bruno's on the bench. Rashford's on the bench. Cavani's on the bench. There's just so much attacking talent on the bench that I can't see us not winning this at half time and then not going on to win by 2 or 3. But that's just my thoughts. Guys, what do you think? We have more in the chat where Jason Keogh, Telles, where is he? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, the chap had a brilliant game and then he wasn't even in the squad against Chelsea. Now, I'm not sure if anybody has seen anything online, or was there anything in the interviews of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There was nothing I've heard. There's nothing I've seen that suggests he got injured. So it's very strange to see that he's not currently there, and a little bit annoying. But yes, you have Connor saying, do you think it's Pogba's last season with United, John? I don't know. I hope not. I absolutely love Pogba playing, but it's hard to tell because we've extended his contract by a further year, which means this summer coming, he'll be going into the last year of his contract. So if we're going to sell him, we'll have to sell him this summer, or else he signs a new contract. So really, it is going to be do or die, Connor, in regards to whether or not he stays. I would like him to stay. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world. And it looks like Ole is finally putting players around him. Bruno, Van der Beek. And then he's developing players, Martial, Greenwood, Rashford, all having their best seasons last year. All of them. So I'd love to see Pogba stay and have a more balanced, more set team around him, and that would be great to see. But I do think there's a very good chance he might go, which would be unfortunate. We have Deco. Would be good to see if Van de Beek starts a game. He is starting. Yeah, good to see him start. I can't wait, and I hope he does well. Dylan Burke, we've already covered it, but yeah, why has Tuanzebe being left out? Dylan has. I don't know. He's on the bench, so in my opinion, he's fit. I mean, if you're fit enough for the bench, you're fit. He had an unbelievable performance against PSG, and I've already said it previously in the episode, but it wasn't just the great performance in that game. That was one of the best centre-half performances or defensive performances I've seen from a United player in a long time, beyond this season, beyond probably even last season. Just single-handedly pocketed Mbappe, and not many guys can do that. And only at 22 years of age and having been out for 10 months. So yeah, I'd love to know why he's out. I'd love to know what Ole is thinking. I mean, yes, maybe he's showing a little bit of naivety, just sticking to his guns with Maguire and Lindelof. But, rest Maguire. Give Tuanzebe a chance. Or rest Lindelof and give Tuanzebe a chance. I mean, honestly, a 22-year-old kid, we've looked at how costly centre-halves are at other clubs. Unbelievably costly. And if United want to go out and spend 50, 60, 70, 80 million on another centre-half, they could. But this guy, I mean, obviously it's a lot to ask for him to play at that level in every game. But if you get him playing well, you could be saving yourself 50, 60 million. If you get him playing, if you get him to stay fit, he's only 22. I mean, just imagine how good he could be if he's 25, 26. But, we're kind of jumping the gun. He's only played that one match, so we wait and see. Jason Kyo asks, can't be fitness problem because it's the excuse he used for the league match. Tuanzebe looks like the real deal. He does. He looks great. I mean, Jason Kyo is a Liverpool fan, so he's not going to be biased towards this. If anything, he would be lowballing it. And I think you're right. He looked amazing. He looked the real deal. But I would need like 4 or 5 games to judge him. It's hard to judge when it's like he's in a back 5 for one. He had Aaron Wan-Bissaka beside him. And Lindelof. So he had a lot of players around him that made it easier for him. But I'd love to see him play in 5 or 6 games. Rory Buchanan, good to see the Dayot Umbekambi. Yes, see why we didn't sign him in this window. Well, I don't think we're going to see why we didn't sign him because I think he'll probably play really well. And I think the reasons we didn't sign him is because he's very, very costly. And back onto Jason Kyo's point and Dylan's point. Tuanzebe looks like a really class centre-half, and if you can get him playing and fit, then save yourself the 20, 30, 40, 50 million that this player I can't pronounce his name, but the RB Leipzig centre-halves, save yourself the money buying him. Dylan Burke, what happens to Brandon Williams? Haven't seen much of him lately. I don't know. He's a young lad, but I don't know if he's had issues, if he's had any issues off field. I don't know if he's injured, but Shaw's come in, Shaw's fit. Shaw is number 1. Williams is quite young and he's an academy graduate and he got a lot of game time when Shaw was injured. But when Shaw is fit, he is first choice. Now Tellez has come in, and granted, like Tuanzebe, we've only seen Tellez in 1 game. And he had a brilliant game in my opinion, and he looked really threatening when he got forward. So for me, he could nearly be number 1. Shaw number 2, and that means Brandon Williams is kind of back down the pecking order there, unless we get rid of Shaw, go with Tellez and Williams for the future. Obi1K, which is Deco, says definitely start Tuanzebe over Lindelof. Lindelof's actually played well. I'd start Tuanzebe over Maguire. Lindelof's done alright. Maguire's been up and down all season. He had a good game, obviously, against Chelsea. We got a clean sheet. Their strikers did nothing, and Maguire played well, but he's been up and down. He's made a lot of mistakes. He had that whole summer thing on the back of him, which wasn't great, and I think it really disrupted his season. Like everyone else, he hasn't had a pre-season. So rest him. Give him a game off. Play Tuanzebe with Lindelof. I mean, Tuanzebe played with Lindelof last week. He did a great job. And it's the same as what Jason Keogh. The back five formation looked good for you. I'm confused why you wouldn't stick to it. It works against one of the best teams in Europe. And it did. The back five looked brilliant. And I've read passages about RB Leipzig and their strikers and that they like to go wide and they like to split the defence. And I mean, if that's the case, you would think a back five is the best way to combat that. Really congest that defensive area, and give then our attacking players room upfield. But it's gone with the back four, and like you, Jay, I think the back five would have been better. Williams is right-footed, should have given him a chance at right back. Dylan Burke says Williams is right-footed, should have given him a chance at right back. Should be given a chance. He should be given a chance because one thing, we got Tellez and Shaw, providing Tellez is actually still a player at Man United. And we've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Literally no cover for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If he gets injured, there's nothing there. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one of the best defensive right-fulls in the league, in my opinion. And if he's not injured, then other than League Cup games, maybe some early FA Cup games, it's very hard to see Brandon Williams getting any game time in that position. But you're right, he should be given a chance there because we have zero cover. And as an 18, 19-year-old that Brandon Williams is, there's nothing wrong with being the second choice fullback to Aaron Wan-Bissaka and learn from him. So yeah, I think you're right. As a right-footed player, he should be there. It's great to have Rory, Deco, Jay, Connor and Dylan all joining us. I want to thank you lads, appreciate it, and appreciate the support on the page. If you do, please like and subscribe and just share some of the videos with your friends. We are just about finished with regards to the pre-game discussion. I do think in regards to predictions, could be looking at, I think, 2-3-0 Man United. I think it's a solid team. I think the bench is just ridiculous. And I'd be very, very disappointed if we don't score at least 2 goals in this game. Very, very disappointed. And if we do concede, it only lends more weight as to why Tuanzebe is not getting a chance. So we wait and see what happens there. Jason Keogh says, what do you think of Frank? Does he need to win something this year after spending all that cash? I don't know, Jay. I mean, it was actually the Liverpool match against Chelsea, and I said that Liverpool probably came too early for Chelsea in that match because you buy that many players, they're going to need time to get to know each other. They're going to need time to get to know the manager. They're going to need time to work on different, whether it's set pieces, whether it's different types of movement on the pitch. Not just get the used to each other and how each other thinks and plays and moves, because football's a very quick game. And you can't just immediately link up with players. I know Bruno Fernandes managed to do it, and a couple of other players around the country have managed to do it, but it's not easy. I mean, if you look at Liverpool, it took Klopp so long to introduce kind of Fabinho into the team, to introduce Keita into the team. He takes his time because he needs the players to get used to his system and his setup. And that's just one individual. And here's Chelsea having bought, I don't know how many players they bought. I think 5, maybe 6, but I think 5 players. And they're all in midfield. They're all midfield and forwards. So, for the most part, you're talking about overhauling nearly your entire outfield attacking side of the game. And, they need time to get used to each other. So I don't think so. I think, I think he doesn't need to win something this year, but he definitely needs to get top 4. Like Ole. I think Ole doesn't need to win something. He needs to get top 4. And then next season, I think they both need to be competing for the league and or winning something. A cup, just some kind of success on top of the progress of continually getting top 4. But I don't think Frank needs to win something. If he can get top 4, I think he'll be given another season. A couple of comments coming in. Conor Owen, John, off topic. Do Liverpool struggle without Virgil van Dijk? I think anybody struggles without Virgil van Dijk. You take the best player out of any team and they'll struggle, or you take the best centre half in the world out of any team and they'll struggle. But it's not just the fact that it's the best player; it's the position. Centre half. He's not the captain of the team, but he's the captain of that defence. So, yeah, no, absolutely. I don't see how they won't struggle. And now they've lost Fabinho, maybe for a week or two due to a hamstring injury. So it's hard to see how they're not going to struggle, having lost him as well. You've got Gomez, who's not great on his own. He relies and leans on Virgil van Dijk a lot. So you've got Gomez now with I think they're going to bring in a youngster because Matip's fitness is under question. So they'll have him with a youngster. And I think they could find themselves in a lot of trouble. Not like they're not going to get top 4. But I don't see how they win the league without Virgil van Dijk. They look very, very suspect at the back. They already did, 7 goals against Villa, 3 goals against Leeds. They were already shipping goals in. But without Virgil, that just makes it more difficult. A couple more comments coming in here. And it's great to see, lads. Thanks a lot for all the comments coming in. I'll just keep having a chat with you for a little while. The video will be a bit longer than the 10 to 15 minutes I want, but I'm perfectly happy with that. Back formation look good. John off topic. So Jason Q says Roman Abramovich doesn't give managers time. That's why I was like, yeah, I know he doesn't. He doesn't seem to give managers time, but he also would have a great relationship with Frank Lampard because he was a player at the club for so long. He would have known him, previously to just being a manager. Unlike other managers he signs, there would be some kind of relationship and grounding and foundation there. And again, once he gets top 4, I don't think he'll have to win something, but he should compete. Chelsea, and in fairness, they won the FA Cup last year. Did they not? Did they? I think they did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he won a cup last year and he got top 4. So really, he just needs top 4 this year. I think it'd be a downer if he doesn't win something, but if he doesn't, I'd be really surprised if they sacked him. Now, if they start dropping out of top 4, and they get knocked out of a couple of competitions, then absolutely he'll find himself in trouble because Roman Abramovich, he won't take that kind of shit. He won't at all. You have John Bresnan retract his message saying, well done, Johnny T. I think it was something like that. John Bresnan, nice to see you joining us. Hope you like it. Send the link on to Niall. Maybe he can join in sometime in the comments. Love to have a chat. We now have a comment. Dylan Burke. If Ole ever does go, who is your ideal replacement? I don't know managers enough to pick one. And the thing is that the replacement I'd like to pick is not who's the best manager now. We've had who's the best manager now. We got that in Jose and it didn't work for us. His negative style, his argumentative press conferences, his toxic, the toxic atmosphere he was creating, and he was one of the best managers in the country, if not the world. Diego Simeone, I was going to get to him, Jay, you're beating me to it, but no, look at what he's doing at Tottenham now. He's looking good, they're looking good, and he's a great manager. He didn't fit us. We had Van Gaal, another great manager and philosophy of football, and done brilliant things in the past. With David Moyes, who was a different kind of manager, and now we've got Ole, who is proving himself at this level. If he was to go, that's the one thing I love about Ole. He knows the club, he loves the club, and if he was to manage our club and be successful, like if he was to do things, win a league or win the cups and get top 4, he's a manager that would stay here for 20 years, and that's what I'd love to see. Find me a manager that will stay here for 20 years who's also great. I don't think there's many around, and Diego Simeone, as JKO says, I don't think he's one that would stay that long. I think he's a brilliant manager. He's done fantastic with Atletico Madrid. He's really helped divide that Barcelona Real Madrid grip on the Liga. Obviously Messi getting older and Ronaldo leaving the league helps with that, but Diego Simone's done some great things, and he'd be brilliant to have as a manager for 2, 3, 4 years, like Klopp at Liverpool. But when there's talk of Klopp like leaving Liverpool in 2022 or 2023, and he may sign another contract, but he also may leave and take a year off football. That's what he said, and that's not what I want. I don't want a manager who's going to do brilliant things for 2 years, and then when he leaves, United is left, chasing their tail trying to find another manager. And Liverpool have had amazing success for 2 years, but if Klopp leaves in a year, then that's not really a dynasty. It means who's going to replace him? I don't think you can. I want a manager that's brilliant but will stay for 10 to 20 years. Dylan Burke says, good shout, Tractor. Poch surely and still available. No, I think Poch's going to go, and Jason Keogh says it to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are crying out for a manager. Zinedine Zidane is having massive up and down season. He beat Barcelona, which is brilliant, but he nearly lost back-to-back Champions League games. He's only got 1 point from his first 2 games, and they've lost a couple of games in the league. Their team is also fighting with each other. The whole situation with Gareth Bale, Bale's going to do great things at Spurs now. Rodriguez is doing great things at Everton, and both of those were just not even utilised at Real Madrid, and there has to be questions asked as to why that was. Hazard's not doing anything at the moment. I know he's injured, but he hasn't been outstanding for Real Madrid. So I think Zidane could find himself in trouble, and I think Poch would take that Madrid job. Robert Fox, can't happen in football these days. Yeah, I think he's referring to my 10 and 20 years, and he may be right, but he may not be. If Frank Lampard is successful with Chelsea, I don't see him ever leaving that club until he gets fired. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is successful at Man United, I don't think he ever leaves that club. I think he only gets fired. So you could have it. If Ole was to leave and they brought Ryan Giggs in, he had success at the Euros with Wales, and he proved himself as a manager. You just need somebody, it's easy to find somebody who loves the club. Mark Hughes, Steve Bruce, Roy Keane, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Giggs. You can find coaches who love the club. It's finding coaches who love the club but are also right for the job and are brilliant. And sometimes you don't know that until it happens. Like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we don't know. Well, we don't know if he's going to be brilliant or not. You have to let it play out. It's the same as I use Pep Guardiola as an example. He done nothing in football as a coach when he got the Barcelona job. He was only managing the Barcelona B team. And then he gets the Barcelona job with ready-made players, your Ronaldinho's, Messi coming through. And all of a sudden, he's one of the best managers in the world with one of the best trophy hauls in the world at Bayern Munich and Man City and Barcelona. But he hadn't proven himself when he was given that position. Ole hasn't proven himself at this level when he's given the position. But like Pep, like Frank Lampard, he knows the club inside out. He knows how it runs. He knows how big it is. He knows the philosophy. He knows about the academy and bringing through graduates, and he knows the type of football the fans want to see. It's just about whether or not he can combine that with also being a great coach. And at the moment, I think he's doing a great job, and he's going to stumble, and he's going to continue to stumble. Everybody stumbles, and he's going to have to learn from that, and hopefully he is the manager we see there for 10 or 20 years. Jason Kyo, as Foxy said, you won't find a manager to give you 20 years. And I just addressed that with regards to different players and players who love the club. I honestly think if you find a player who loves the club, they would give you 20 years. It's whether or not the club gives them 20 years, and that's the difference. Robert Fox says, Jay, more like the club would never be back someone that long. Exactly, it's just exactly what I said, Fox. You're bloody reading my mind. It's like the club, it depends on whether or not the club will give the players that long, not the players, the coaches. And that depends on success. And it's not just trophies and leagues and Champions Leagues. It's keeping and getting top four. It's continuing to progress the team. It's taking a team who ages and then replacing the older players and continuing to build what would be a new team that Fergie did, the 90s team, the late 90s, the early 2000s, the late 2000s. They were always developing and changing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer currently has one of the youngest teams. In fact, it was the youngest team in the league last year. He was playing the most academy graduates in the league last year than any other team, including the lower level teams. So you take any team towards the bottom end of the table. He played more academy players than all those teams. He's doing a great job of bringing through academy players, developing players. It's just whether or not we can find some consistency like we did at the end of last season. And if he finds success with United, I think United would stick by him. JQ, yeah, 100% Foxy. And I agree with Foxy. It's whether or not the club will give the players time. Will Chelsea give Frank Lampard time? Will United give Ole time? We'll have to wait and see. Connor Nolan, do NFC win the league next season? I don't know. Connor, the bigger question is there going to be a league next season? That's the bigger question. Will there be a league next season? If there is, maybe I can get back playing football again. We'll have to wait and see. Listen, lads, that's excellent. The match is going to begin in 15 minutes, so I'm going to leave it here. I want to thank the guys for joining me in the chat. Thanks for the questions, because it helps me talk about different topics. You're picking what we're discussing, and that's what I love, and I want to appreciate everybody for joining live. And join me for a post-match video, a 10-minute post-match video that will be straight after the game, with thoughts on the game and how it went and how it played out, and hopefully it'll be good in that way, so fingers crossed. Again, please like, share with your friends. I wanted to try to build a community. United fans of football. We can have a bit of banter. We can have guests appearing on the show through Zoom, if I can make that happen. But yeah, just want to enjoy, build a bit of a community, a bit of a following, and have really good fun talking about it. chatting about football. Thanks again, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the game.
This shirt belongs to you. Always has, always will.
Chevrolet, proud supporter of Manchester United.